So, what are some California court decisions that shed light on the legislative process? The first item I wanted to talk about was statutory construction. The rules governing statutory construction are well established in this state. The court's objective is to ascertain and effectuate the legislative intent. The Cal Supreme Court said this in City of Huntington Beach versus Board of Administration in 1992. In determining legislative intent, we first look to the language itself. If the language is clear and unambiguous, there's no need for construction, nor is it necessary to resort to indicia of the intent of the legislature. The California Supreme Court said this in Lundgren versus Deukmejian in 1988. When the language of the statute is ambiguous, we refer to other indicia of legislative or voter intent, such as legislative history, public policy, or analyses, and arguments contained in the official voter information guide. Our task is simply to interpret and apply the language of a statute or initiative so as to effectuate the legislature's or the electorate's respective intent. The California Supreme Court said this in 2001 in Hooked Celanese Corporation versus Franchise Tax Board. Courts must also construe words in context, keeping in mind the statutory purpose, and statutes or statutory actions or sections relating to the same subject matter must be harmonized both internally and with each other to the extent possible. Every statute then should be construed in light of the whole system of law of which it is a part, so that all may be harmonized and have effect. The California Supreme Court said this in 1987 in Dynamed versus Fair Employment and Housing Commission. It is established that where the terms of a statute are by fair and reasonable interpretation capable of a meaning consistent with the requirements of the Constitution, the statute will be given the meaning rather than another in conflict with the Constitution. Thus, this rule flows from the assumption that the legislative body intended to enact a valid statute. The California Supreme Court said this in 1985 in People versus Davenport.